Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot of broken updates today. So the first news is coming from Moscow, and more specifically coming from the CIS summit. So the CIS summit has kicked off, and if we can see here in your bottom left corner, we can see all the leaders of the CIS corporation meet in Moscow. So Vladimir Putin stated at the opening of the summit that Russia considers all CIS countries as strategic partners, and Moscow is committed to strengthening cooperation with them. Russian President Vladimir Putin stated. He also announced at the start that national currencies and transactions among CIS countries are on the rise, with over 85% of all settlements now taking place in national currencies, and this figure will continue, stated Vladimir Putin. So now let's go into the actual meeting, the actual heart of the meeting. So I've actually gotten all the dot points that Vladimir Putin stated, so all of the big dot points. So first, Putin stated that close coordinations with CIS countries in the foreign policy arena is of great importance. Humanitarian ties within the CIS are continuing to develop, and partnerships in science are developing. In the first half of 2024, the combined GDP of CIS countries increased by 4.7%, and investments in fixed assets grew by 11.2%. Cooperation between CIS countries and BRICS will strengthen the position of the Commonwealth in global affairs. The fight against terrorism, extremism, and crime is a key arena of joint work for the CIS countries. Very interesting news coming from Vladimir Putin. We've also got news that the Armenian president also stated at this meeting that Armenia is ready to sign an agreed draft peace agreement with Azerbaijan as early as this month. Putin and the Armenian president also have agreed that starting from January the 1st, 2025, the border of Armenia will be guarded by Armenia's National Security Service border troops alongside with Russian border guards, according to the Armenian government. So Russia is now going to be sending some troops, some border guards at the new Armenian-Azerbaijan border. So when the peace draft gets approved, we've also got news that after the summit, the Armenian Prime Minister decided to ride a bicycle throughout the center of the Russian capital. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the Armenian Prime Minister actually ride around the capital of Moscow. Putin, after the meeting, also congratulated and gifted Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, the Order of St. Andrew. So this is Russia's highest state award. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see Putin give this high reward, the highest reward in Russia. We've also got news that Russia has also banned the huge messaging app called Discord. So Russia has just banned the app and software of Discord. And a couple hours later, Turkey also bans the messaging app Discord just hours after Russia did. So two countries and the same day has just banned Discord. So very big news. We've also got news coming from Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. He stated that if the West allows Ukraine to use long-range missiles, Russia will find out about it and the retaliation measures will begin to take effect, the Russian foreign minister stated. We've also got news coming from the port of Mariupol. So, according to the Prime Minister of Ukraine, he stated that during the year, the Russians took over 180,000 tons of stolen Ukrainian grain through the port of Mariupol, the Prime Minister of Ukraine stated. So according to him, Russia has sold up to 180,000 tons of Ukrainian grain. So, very big news. We've also got news coming from Denmark and Ukraine that Denmark donates 18 emergency rescue lifts to Ukraine. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, these are the lifts. So the lifts will be used to rescue people from buildings after explosions. So very big news. So Denmark donates 18 emergency rescue lifts to Ukraine. We've also got news that the second peace summit on Ukraine, previously scheduled for November, will not take place, according to Zelensky's office. So the second peace summit has just been cancelled. And along that, we've also got news that the Ramstein meeting in Germany, well, the NATO base in Germany, has just been cancelled too. So the previously scheduled meeting of the leaders of the United Kingdom, Germany, the United States, and France on October the 12th has just been cancelled, along with the Ramstein summit. So the German spokesman Stefan Hesbrindt stated. So the Ramstein meeting and the second peace summit on Ukraine has altogether been cancelled. And this is due to the hurricane that's hit Florida, and we'll talk a lot about that a bit later. Now let's go to the Lithuanian-Russian border. We've got news that Lithuania has placed dragon teeth on the bridge on the border with Russia. So if we can see here in your bottom left corner, we can see the not the Iron Dome, sorry, dragon teeth anti-tank obstacles be placed on the Lithuanian side of the Russian border. So very big news. Later, iron beams will be added to them, said the head of Lithuania's Ministry of Defense. So it seems that Lithuania is fortifying the Lithuanian and Russia Kaliningrad region. So big news. And now let's head to Croatia, where we've got news that President Zelensky has just arrived in Croatia. So if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see Zelensky meeting with some Croatian officials. And then later on, Zelensky announces a long-term support agreement with Croatia. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, President Zelensky announced the signing of a long-term support and cooperation agreement with Croatian Prime Minister. So we've gotten some news that some documents were signed in Croatia during Zelensky's visit to Croatia. We've also got news that Pope Francis will also meet Zelensky in the Vatican on Friday, so tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll obviously get news of a Zelensky and Pope Francis meeting. So big news. We've also gotten some news coming from Budapest, so Hungary. So we've got some news coming from Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. So he stated that neither Putin nor Zelensky wants peace. Both believe time is on their side, said the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. That's why they refuse compromises. Most in Europe want to put a pause and negotiate. That's why they refuse compromises. Most in Europe want a pause and negotiations, but when I mentioned peace, they called me Putin's horse, so Putin's puppet. We've also got news that while Viktor Orban was delivering his speech, an intruder actually came into the press conference and actually it seems to try and attack the Prime Minister of Hungary. So he was screaming to Viktor Orban that you are betraying Hungary and the European Union. So he didn't actually get to the Prime Minister, so the Prime Minister is under no harm and he was escorted out of the room, but he was screaming that you are betraying Hungary and the European Union. We've also got news that Orban stated that if Trump wins, I will open some champagne, he stated. Yet again, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has openly supported the US Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump. We've also got news that Hungary has also blocked a $35 billion loan to Ukraine before the US elections. And we got some news coming from the Hungarian Foreign Minister that he stated that there is no possibility for Ukraine to join NATO, and behind closed doors, this position is shared by an overwhelming majority of alliance members, stated the Hungarian Foreign Minister. So, big news coming from Hungary. We've also gotten some news coming from Serbia that, according to the Deputy Prime Minister of Serbia, Serbia will never join anti-Russian sanctions, stated the Deputy Prime Minister of Serbia. Now let's head to Germany, where we've got news that the German Chancellor Scholz is apparently ready to negotiate with Putin if they lead to peace. So a German official said the Chancellor was ready to discuss the possibility of progress towards a just peace, but warned Russia not to perceive this as a sign of weakness, stated the German officials. Now let's head to France, where we've got news that President Macron presented footage of the Ukrainian brigade Anna Kiev, which is currently undergoing training in France. So you can see this video in your bottom left corner. This was published by France. So these are Ukrainian troops training in France. So these are all French trained Ukrainian troops. And Macron actually visited the Ukrainian troops trained by the French Legion. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, Macron handshaked most of these fighters, and he actually said, "Are you mobilized or volunteer?" So, and all of them actually said mobilized. Now let's head to the UK, where we've got news that the UK population reaches 68.3 million, driven by record immigration. So England and Wales saw a record population increase of 610,000 people by mid-2023, making the largest annual rise in 75 years. So the population of the United Kingdom has increased by 1% to 68.3 million by mid-2023 due to the high immigration levels, according to official data released on Tuesday. We've also got news that the Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom denies having hidden agendas to hand over the Falkland Islands to, obviously, Argentina or Gibraltar to Spain. So, very, very big news. We've also got news coming from Morocco that rare floodings have been seen in the Moroccan Sahara Desert. So the Moroccan region of the Sahara Desert has recently seen the kind of rainfall not witnessed for decades. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, we can see the floods that hit the Sahara Desert. Apparently even local lakes that were dry for a half a century now contains water. So it seems that these floods have actually done more good than bad, apparently, according to the locals. Now let's head to Mali, where we've got news that a large convoy of Mali and Wagner Group forces are heading towards this city here on the Algerian and Mali border. So apparently this is a key stronghold that rebels are currently holding. This location holds immense strategic importance, and its liberation from terrorist control could have a significant impact in the future stability in the region, stated the Russian and Mali sources. So Wagner, Russian and Mali forces are now undergoing an operation to try and take back this city here. So, very big news. We've also got news coming from Israel that Israel has managed to cross the border and raise the Israeli flag on this village or this settlement right here. So after 24 years after the withdrawal from Lebanon, so Israel's withdrawal from Lebanon, Israeli Defense Forces soldiers have raised the Israeli flag in this settlement right here in the Lebanese village, from which numerous rockets have been launched at northern Israel from this exact location. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the Israeli flag that was raised on this settlement here. So we can actually do this again. So we can expect the Israeli forces have crossed and actually taken this city here. So very big news. We've also got news that the Israeli Defense Forces have also discovered an Hezbollah tunnel that was actually going underneath Israel. So a Hezbollah underground tunnel that crossed approximately 10 meters from Lebanon into Israeli territory was located and dismantled. So now let's head to some political updates coming from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. So according to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli forces have eliminated Hezbollah's Secretary General Nasrallah's successor and his successor and successor. So in total, according to Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel has killed 4 Hezbollah Secretary Generals so far. So, very big news. We've also gotten some news coming from Gaza, published by Mainstream News, that they have released some before and during the war in Gaza. So we can see here in your bottom left corner, we can see the Gaza Strip on the 23rd of March 2021. So we can see here, there's people around, it seems. And now we can see it on the 18th of September 2024. So we can see a lot of devastation to Gaza, and this goes on for a minute, going through all of Gaza. So very, very sad news. We've also got news coming from Saudi Arabia that Saudi officials state that if Iran acquires a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia will be compelled to develop its own nuclear arsenal to maintain regional balance. We've also gotten some news coming from Iran that a group of 39 Iranian parliamentarians has appealed to the country's Security Council requesting permission to develop nuclear weapons due to the threat from Israel. So we've got news that 39 Iranian parliamentarians have appealed to the country's Security Council to develop nuclear weapons. We've also got news that Iran is reportedly showing an interest in buying a substantial number of JF-17 Block 3 fighter jets from Pakistan. So this is the fighter jet that I'm talking about in your bottom left corner. So Iran is showing an interest in buying these JF Block 3 fighter jets from Pakistan. The next news is coming from the country of Kuwait, that a Kuwait F-18 fighter jet crashes during a training mission. The pilot was also killed. So the Kuwait Air Force F-18 fighter jet was crashed in the northern part of the country during a training mission, killing the pilot. The Kuwait Defense Ministry announced on Wednesday. So very tragic news, and we've got no video and no videos to actually go with this. We've also got news coming from Sri Lanka that Sri Lanka hopes to formally apply to BRICS membership in the nearest days, according to Sri Lankan media. So in the next few days, we can expect Sri Lanka to actually request Russia to formally join BRICS. So big news. We've also got news of another plane crash, but this one now coming from Laos. So a Russian-made Yak 130 aircraft of the Laos People's Air Force crashed while performing some maneuvers. Both pilots were tragically killed. So very sad news. We've also got news coming from North Korea that North Korea is reportedly preparing to send military forces to Ukraine to back Russia, according to South Korean's defense minister. So according to South Korean's defense minister, North Korea is soon going to be sending its military to Ukraine. Now let's head to Indonesia, where we've got news that we've gotten large videos of Indonesian protests in the capital city. So demonstrators have hit the streets of the Indonesian capital for 2 days now, calling for the end of the bloodshed in Gaza, as they marched on the US Embassy and the UN office in the Indonesian capital. So now let's talk about probably the biggest news come today, and it's coming from Florida, where we've got news that the Hurricane Milton has hit Florida. So these past couple of videos we talked about how a hurricane was going to hit Florida. So the Hurricane Milton has officially hit Florida. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see these huge videos that are being published online of the hurricane and just tornadoes and the hurricane hitting all throughout Florida. So people are stating that powerful winds and tornadoes and darkened skies are being reported, and this is going well with the videos that are being published. So very big news. If you can see here in your bottom left corner, we can actually see people attempting to flee the Hurricane Milton in Florida as floods waters rise. So in some areas, the flood waters are set to rise to over 6 feet tall. So very big news. And if you can just see here, that you can just see all the people trying to evacuate this huge hurricane that is hitting Florida. And that's not the last news coming today regarding hurricanes. We've also got news that the Hurricane Kirk is also approaching Europe. So forecasters note that although the storm will lose its hurricane status, as it approaches Europe, winds could reach up to 130 kilometers an hour and waves could reach 10 meters high. So the Hurricane Kirk is expected to affect France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, and Denmark. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see that this Hurricane Kirk approaching Europe. But although it will lose its Hurricane Kirk status when it approaches Europe, it still will be quite devastating. So that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Non-Scene News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.